This video is sponsored by Curio. Curio is an NFT platform running on the Ethereum blockchain. And throughout the month of June, it is running its Motel America collection from the TV show American Gods. So let's go and check it out. So this is actually the second collection from American Gods. American Gods, the original fantasy book from Neil Gaiman, now a TV show for Amazon and Stars. And there are these characters dropping in various prices and scarcity models. And if you collect them all, there is also a bonus NFT that you will get. Of course, this is an NFT platform, so even if some of those have dropped and you haven't got them, we can head over to the exchange and we can start to see what is available there. Some of the other fandoms that Curio has been involved with, we can see Scott Pilgrim, Heavy Metal, Concrete Park, and also we can kind of check by pricing, and we can go and have a look at American Gods and we can kind of see what prices are being attracted by these NFTs. So if you're interested in stuff like American Gods, Scott Pilgrim, those sort of kind of graphic novel IPs, check out Curio. And thanks for the sponsorship. Hello and welcome to the video. So I'm John Jordan and I'm going to take a deep dive into what's going on with the Blankos NFTs at the moment. Very early stages, but I think it's kind of interesting. And I did this for my own sort of pleasure because I'm weird. And I thought maybe other people were weird like me. So anyway, this is all sort of very early stages of Blankos. The prices of these things are changing all the time. This is not a dynamic map. This is just a static graph I've created. And then drop the little Blankos in. Nothing very clever at all. I'm sure someone can do a much better job. But this is just sort of an idea of having a look at the Blankos. And what we have on this graph is vertically we have the price, the lowest price of a Blanko in the marketplace. So the marketplace has been live now for a couple of weeks. But it is very limited. I would think there are probably hundreds of people only who have access to it. So you had to get an email invite access. So it's in alpha and it's invite only. So I imagine the people who have been invited are people who are really into Blankos and probably have a lot of Blankos that they've collected over the months. And there's probably not many, there's probably more sellers than buyers, I would think, at the moment. So probably some people are sort of filling out their collections and maybe buying a few they missed or something. But I think we'll see the marketplace will change when more people come in and more people who haven't been involved with Blankos for a long period of time, because obviously those people won't have some of these older Blankos that have been dropped and are now no longer available in the shop. So at the moment, actually, only 2 of these Blankos are actually available to buy in the Blankos shop. All of these other ones are sort of limited edition, being discontinued. So the only way you can get them in the marketplace is in the marketplace. So we have the price up here. This is, you'll note probably, hopefully, this is a log scale. So we go from $10 to $100 to $1,000. But you understand. This is not linear. This is log. So this sort of because there's some very high prices and some very low prices. I've used the log scale to make it kind of simpler to understand. And across the horizontal scale, we have the number of Blankos NFTs minted. So in this case here, we have the I can't remember what it's called, multi Blankos, I think it's called. And actually there are over 5,000. So at the moment that's the biggest number of NFTs minted. Although as we'll discuss, these were a pre-alpha giveaway, so it's not quite clear how many of these are sort of live in wallets at the moment. So that's the rough sort of setup. And as I've sort of alluded to there's at the moment been sort of the Blankos have been organised into sort of 5 different. This is kind of chronology. So the first ones were the pre-alpha, then we had alpha, private, beta, open beta, and now we're in early access. So that's sort of the time frame. Now, obviously, as we'd expect, the fewer Blankos there are in a set, the more expensive they are. So we have here I Am Terry is very I think just over 100 I Am Terrys were created, and obviously they are currently sort of highly valued. Should point out that this pricing is based not on the previous sales, because most of these haven't been sold, but on the lowest ask in the marketplace. So this is, if you want to buy one of these, this is the price you currently have to pay, because this is the only ones available. So there are actually some Blankos more expensive than these. So there are some. There's famously there's the golden ticket. There's only one of those. No idea what's going to go on with that. I imagine the owner is not even on the alpha at the moment, because that one's not available. There are some other ones that are priced at over $1 million. So there's one Blanko. There's only 10 ever been minted. So there are these very expensive ones. I didn't want to extend the graph too high because it just gets, yeah, a lot of the action is down here under $1,000. So I didn't want to go too far up here. But there are ones that you know, I don't know if that's a good price, over $1 million for Blankos. Obviously, we've never seen that. That sort of pricing, but that's what some people are pricing them at. But the most expensive at the moment, I think this one's can't remember what it was, but it's getting on for $100,000. Is it $75,000? Something like that. No, I think that's 100. No, I can't remember. I'm making it up. Anyway, a very expensive one here, and then we have this one, 666 Austin Rexes, pretty cool looking dude, and they're, I can't remember what that's out. It's out for $25,000 or something. So obviously, the fewer there are, so all these ones are under $1,000. Anything under $1,000 available in the Blankos, in terms of the number minted, you're looking at, you know, hundreds of dollars. Obviously, there will be some more expensive in any series. So the number ones in any of these series will be much more expensive. I'm just looking at the cheapest ones here to give us an idea. So as you'd expect, what's tended to be is the pre-alpha ones, so the ones that were created first, are kind of more expensive as well. There's also fewer of them. These were actually sort of given away in sort of Twitter competitions. So it's not very clear to me how many of these are actually going to be live and available on the marketplace at any point. We can see here that, like, multi-Blankos, loads of these were given away, 5,500. Now, if you give stuff away for free, people tend not to look after it, even though it's currently selling for $200. So it may be, even though there's supposedly 550 of these were created, it may be there's only a few thousand, maybe even fewer than those actually become available in the game. With these other ones, the alpha ones, these are ones apart from this one here actually, but these other alpha ones here, Lolly, Boss Dino, Billy Bones Gold, and Taco. These were the first ones you could buy. So these were the founder packs. So this is kind of fairly decent distribution of these. So 2,000 to kind of just under 4,000 of these ones. And again, they're slightly more expensive. They're over $100 apart from Lolly. But these ones sold in different packs. So the Boss Dino pack was $150. The Billy Bones Gold pack was $100. You got the Blankos and some accessories and some in-game currency. So these were sort of more expensive. Lolly was only $25, the Lolly bundle. So that's why it's a bit cheaper, and obviously sold a bit more. Okay, what else we've got going on here? So we have the private beta. So these are the red ones. We can see here, kind of smattering sort of around here. So these were the first ones that you could then sort of start buying. So Billy Bones kind of is kind of a sort of signature character on Blankos. So there's actually quite a lot of those, almost 5,000 of those minted. And a few other ones here, El Char Blanco, the wrestler, the Peanut, the kind of one-eyed one, Maxi Mouth. So quite a lot of those kind of got sold. And at this point, there were not many Blankos around, really. Here's Space Girl. So these were all selling for $10, effective price when we hit the private beta. These were $10, and they were available, but there wasn't so much kind of hype around the game. So they've sold pretty well. You know, they're not down here. And pricing wise, you know, if you bought these for $10, they're now selling for kind of $50, $60. So the kind of markup sort of there. Obviously, this will all change over time. The most interesting kind of select section really are the open beta. So a lot of these blue ones. So this is when Blankos started to release quite a lot of NFTs, quite a lot of characters. So you had to be quite committed to kind of buy them all. The prices started to range up. So some of these were $20. This one here, Stupid Cupid, was a Valentine's Day one, not available for very, very long at all. But we can see here it's kind of a rough sort of distribution. You know, typically the ones that there are less of are more expensive, but they're all roughly around sort of the $50 mark. These are sort of the cheapest ones at the moment. And then we have the early access one. So we're currently in early access. The game is in early access. There's quite a range here. This is partly because some of these are still available in the store. So actually this one here, Bullseye, this is sort of incorrect actually, because there was going to be a limit of 4,000, but we've got a day to go before this is discontinued, and there's been about just over 3,000 of these sold. So I think we're not going to hit the limit on that one. But this one's currently available, going to be taken off tomorrow. This one here, Freddy Yeti. This is actually a cheaper one, so this is $10. So it's actually for some reason selling at a slight premium on the marketplace, maybe because of the serial numbers. This one's also going to be discontinued in 2 days' time. So this one's actually probably not going to be many of these. So this might be interesting. You know, we could not investment advice, but if we're assuming that the fewer of them there are, the more expensive they are. There's a rough correlation here, not in every single one, but we can maybe think that this one is going to be not that many of them unless they suddenly sell out in 2 days, which could happen. So we'll see what happens with the pricing on here. This one's interesting here. This is Blankos. This one was a giveaway on the official E3 Twitch stream. So if you watch the official E3 Twitch stream, you can go and claim this if you set up a Blankos account. So there's about 2,500 of these. I mean, there were 100,000 people watching that stream, so potentially I suppose there are 100,000 of these that could be claimed. You only have a few days left to claim it. Where are we? Half a week left to claim it, 4 days. 5 days. 5 days before you can claim it, and then you won't be able to claim it anymore. But these are currently selling. So these were given away. 2,500 people have currently claimed them, selling for just over $100. So that's sort of interesting. And this one here is also interesting. So this one was the first. Well, this was a limited drop. So only 400 of these were available, and they sold out pretty much straight away. And now reselling at about double the price. This is Kitsumi, a little sort of Japanese style cat. So that's what's sort of going on here. Other one to point out here which is interesting. So this is a Frostbite. So Frostbite was again a giveaway. You had to complete over the Christmas period. You had to complete a set of tasks, and basically, if you completed that, you got Frostbite. There's 1,000 of these. I don't know if the first 1,000 people got them or quite how they organised that. I assume it must be the first 1,000 people who did those tasks got Frostbite. But Frostbite, because it was one that you had to earn, and obviously lots of people who may potentially just go and buy something don't have the time to go and earn stuff. So this one is actually selling fairly at a fairly decent price, given that it was a giveaway. But the really expensive ones are these ones tend to be these very early ones, these pre-alpha ones that were given away. Actually, Camo J again was another one that was given away to people in the game in the pre-alpha. So that's the broad distribution there. So we can kind of see, I guess, in conclusion, as we'd expect, the more Blankos have been minted in a particular kind of a character, the cheaper they are. That's the broad. If we draw a line here, a trend line, it's sort of like that. If there's not very many of them, they're going to be more expensive. Also, if they are chronologically older, so the pre-alpha ones, there's also they tend to be fewer of those. So it's sort of like a double effect. But if the pre-alpha ones tend to be more expensive, this is an interesting one. And I guess if you're thinking about sort of pricing, this is an interesting one because this is a pre-alpha, an old one. There's quite a lot of it, but we don't know how many of them there are actually going to be available. So the pricing I'll be looking at is sort of ones like this, ones like these here. These are sort of outliers. And then over time we're going to have more drops into early access. So there's actually another drop, a new Blankos being launched today in early access, and 2 more next week, I think, or no, 2 more this week actually. So 3 this week. So we're going to start to see a real ramping up of the releases of Blankos. Probably a graph like this isn't going to work because it's going to be too many Blankos on there. Currently there are I think 40 different Blankos that are available. I would imagine we're going to, as the game sort of ramps up, we're going to see that increase quite rapidly. I would expect probably by the end of the year that's going to be closer to 100. The other thing is, at the moment we're seeing them selling for like $10 to $20. This one was the most expensive one. Actually, Kasumi sold for $150. Only 400 of those, currently selling for over $300. So there's a good markup there. But I think we'll start to see Blankos, or Mythical Games, the company behind Blankos, starting to mess around with retailing much more. So there'll be these sort of different pricing models going on there, some more expensive ones, some smaller distributions, some probably bigger distributions, some time-limited ones. So sort of playing around with all this sort of stuff that we see in kind of retailing, where you're basically trying to drive engagement and Blankos plays into that sort of thing that we see in kind of sneaker drops or kind of physical toy drops, that limited edition sort of style. A whole bunch of other stuff to talk about. I think over time we'll start to see some of these Blankos become more valuable because they look cooler. So I think some of them are particularly cool, and I think we'll see that over time. We'll see that those sort of rising to the surface. Also, now we're starting to see you can customize some of these, so you can have these characters and then you can change the colors on them. You can't change the patterns, but you can change the colors by mixing them up, and potentially, I think that'll take a long time to flow through into pricing. But I think aesthetics clearly is a part of NFTs. NFTs are not. I would say the first kind of pricing mechanic around NFTs is about how many there are and what price they're sold at. But over time, and the serial number, obviously. But over time, I think kind of aesthetics can sort of play a part of it as well. So we'll see how that pans out. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. We're keeping an eye on Blankos. So if you're interested in Blankos, please subscribe to the channel. But thanks for watching, and see you again soon.